Hello, I'm David Slocum, professor and special advisor to the academic director at the Berlin School for Creative Leadership. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to another Tent Talk at the Berlin School. Our guest today is Professor Robert Weisz. He is a professor, founding director, and former dean in the MBA program in the business school at the University of Aix-en-Provence. It's our pleasure to welcome him today.
Thank you.
Professor Weisz, your research is wide-ranging, but one of the topics which we think is especially timely and that you've shared with our students concerns emotional intelligence. Wondering if you could say a few words about your work with that subject.
Yeah, I especially work on the what happens in our communication when people are under stress, and what we can notice when we are under stress, under pressure. We have a tendency to lose some of our capacities, of our competencies, and especially the competencies we have to adapt and to other people, and to be flexible, you know, to be able to adapt to other people, or to be creative to adapt to other people. And we very easily, under pressure, when we get the stress inside of us, we become very rigid, and our behaviors are very repetitive and stereotyped. And so we can analyze that in many ways. For me, it's let's say it's a question of energy. We are a social animal, and we spend our time exchanging energy with other people. Without the energy coming from other people, let's say our psyche would shrink completely, and the energy we get from the other people, you know, irrigates our psyche and we get, you know, a full capacity of our talents and of our resources. And when we are under stress, in fact, there is a difference between the energy we have in ourselves, which is available for us, and the energy which is necessary to handle a situation. There is a deficit between the energy we are able to mobilize and the energy which is necessary to harmoniously handle the situation. And when there is this deficit, we are under stress. And under stress, our communication becomes really stereotyped and repetitive. We serve a communication to other people, even if this communication is not appropriate to the situation. So that's what's happening. And the question is, okay, if we have people under stress in front of us, what are we going to do? And the conceptual answer is very simple. The practical answer is more complex. The conceptual answer is, of course, we have to give good energy to these people in order that they go out, you know, of the stress, what I call the survival mode of communication, to go back in the normal mode of communication, what I call the growth mode of communication. And if we give good energy to the people, they're going to recover a normal level of energy, and at the same time recover their resources and talents to be able to adapt in a better way to the situation and to the people they have in front of them. So what we have to do is to give this energy. And most of the time, if our analysis, you know, spontaneous analysis is relevant, you're going to see this person. It's like a relief for the person. Again, is going to get back the energy which is necessary, and is going to recover his or her talents. It's a little bit like a good analogy is like if you put somebody underwater. After a while, this person is going to miss oxygen, and there is a lack of oxygen. You put your head out of the water. You get the oxygen back, you irrigate your blood, irrigate the brain again, and you find back your capacities. And going from survival to growth going out of stress in this way from the energy we receive from other people is exactly the same relief that's getting oxygen when we are missing oxygen.
I'm wondering if you could say a few words about how it is that you take these ideas and share them with students in the classroom, particularly students here who are themselves creative leaders.
Mm-hmm. One point which is fascinating with an MBA so specific, as specific as this one, creative leadership. That means where you have people who are leaders in the creative industries who are coming there. You see that the specificity of the business is more important than the origin of the people. They come from very different countries. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many in the group I had today. 11 out of 18 people. That's incredible diversity. At the same time, they come from advertising business or television or other creative activities, and we have a very dominant profile in this population, which correspond to the profile of the creativity and innovation. So these people, we have two. One, the language, which is the profile, which is linked to attention, availability, and playing with ideas and all that, is the profile where creativity is the most developed, of course.
Sounds very French.
Very French, but of course you can find people creative in other profile, but that's and also you have another profile based on esteem, recognition, respect, and where the importance of results, performance, to be the best, to be different from the others, which is the language of innovation. You see, the language of creativity and the language of innovation are not the same. Contrary, it's the opposite at the normal intuition we have. And so there are the two dominant languages you could anticipate in the business of creativity, because these people not only they need to have good ideas, but it's not enough. They need to have very different ideas from the others to make the difference on the market in a competition, because two agencies of advertisement, they are going to be in competition to get a client. Or in a TV business, we of course you have new ideas, new concepts, but you are going to meet the public, and is it going to make the difference? Are you going to get the public or not? Are you going to have a better audience than another show? You're always in competition in this industry. So you need, at the same time, this facility to have plenty of ideas and good and inventive new ideas, but at the same time to put them in a form which is going to make a difference on the market. So creativity and innovation to get, good results. So, and in the population which is in your MBA, and it is a very interesting class, these two profiles are really dominant and very often mixed with the same people. Inside the same people, they are at the same time completely equal about creativity and innovation, about ideas and action, about playing with their mind and getting results, which is very, very interesting.
It can be a very productive alignment.
It is a very productive alignment. At the same time, it corresponds not only, to creativity and innovation together, it corresponds also to the best entrepreneurial profile. Ideas and action together. So, imagine a person who has good ideas and who goes to action and who wants really strongly getting the best result and profitability.
To make them real.
You have a good entrepreneur.
Let me ask you one last question, and this considers where we are today during a severe economic downturn. I'm wondering how you see your research and insights possibly addressing the downturn that everyone is experiencing.
Let's say, to be honest, the recession has increased the fear of the people could have of the future, about the future, and also the anger people could have about different economic organization, either their company or the economic system. There is a big question mark about our economic orientation, and so people are, very often people are, the emotion of the people are getting bigger and bigger. We see that in the street. In France, it happens in the street very often, and you know that. But people are very puzzled about the future. And when people are uncertain about the future, and they doubt about the future, they are not so sure, of what is going to be my position in the future. Am I going to get, the money I need to provide food and shelter to my family? When people start to think about that, the emotional content becomes more intense, bigger and bigger. So it's very necessary, even more than ever before, that the people in charge of the companies, the managers, the different, executive in the company, people in charge, responsible of teams, they take this dimension into account. Because if they don't take that into account, if they don't manage the emotion of the people, if they don't think, the difficulties that we are encountering with the people, in the relationship with the people, are getting bigger and bigger right now, and we have to do something to answer to the anxiety of the people, and maybe the anger of the people is as some reason. In some places, we could very easily have, not a difficult moment, but explosions. So we have to take that into account. It's more than ever, it is completely necessary that people manage the emotional part in a very careful way. So for managers, I think plenty of things are necessary, but this one is really necessary right now.
Well, I know again that our students have benefited from your teaching and your insights, and let's hope that other managers do as well, especially today. Thank you very much, Professor Robert Weisz, for joining us today.
Thank you.